Collin News.
We're going to talk about the new show coming to A&E, Sons of Israel, an offshoot of Sons of Anarchy. Everyone will appreciate the biker gang melodrama. Except this is real life, Collin. This is from the BBC, which normally we don't bring that kind of shit, but it's one of those times, and you'll see why, that the BBC has decided to speak some truth. So,
I typed this out.
Yes.
Because BBC picked it. Well, they picked it up from Israel-Palestine News.
It's the other way around.
So
Israel-Palestine News picked it up from the BBC, but yes.
But
they are an aggregate over there. But they write, anti-Islamic U.S. biker gang members run security at deadly Gaza aid strikes. So, yeah. You're like, what? This is one of those things that I see the headline, I'm like, the fuck? Anyway, the firm guarding sites where aid is distributed in Gaza has been using members of a U.S. biker gang with a history of hostility to Islam to run its armed security. A BB investigation has found.
I feel like you talked about this before.
We've talked about mercenaries over there for sure.
Yes, but I feel like this specific thing, like a biker gang, like I feel like, now granted, like my memory is shot because we do
so many of these
at this point, hundreds of stories a week. And now,
I don't remember talking about it. If I did, good for me.
But yeah, it is related to the aid sites where Palestinians are getting picked up. But I feel like you mentioned like something about biker gang and all of that. Like, I know we talked about it in that regard, but not necessarily this. But I felt like that was kind of mentioned in the article.
Yeah. So BBC News has confirmed. Yes.
You could go back to our playlist for family check, but I feel it feels familiar.
So BBC News has confirmed the identities of 10 members of the Infidels Motorcycle Club working in Gaza for UG Solutions, a private contractor providing security at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sites, aka death traps, where hundreds of civilians seeking food have been killed in scenes of chaos and gunfire. We can reveal that 7 members of the gang are in senior positions overseeing sites at the controversial aid operation backed by Israel and Donald Trump. UG Solutions defended its employees' qualification for the job, saying it does not screen people out for personal hobbies or affiliations unrelated to the job performance. Unless those hobbies were being pro-Palestinian, I'm betting. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation said it has a zero tolerance policy for any hateful, discriminatory biases or conduct. Okay, we'll see about that. Infidels Motorcycle Club was set up by U.S. military veterans of the Iraq War in 2006, and members see themselves as modern crusaders, using the Crusader cross as their symbol, a reference to the medieval Christians who fought Muslims for control of Jerusalem. Sounds like Christian Zionists. The gang is currently hosting anti-Muslim hate speech on its Facebook page and has previously held a pig roast in defiance of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. Putting the Infidels Biker Club in charge of delivering humanitarian aid in Gaza is like putting the KKK in charge of delivering humanitarian aid in Sudan. It makes no sense whatsoever, said Edward Ahmed Mitchell, a deputy director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, a leading Muslim civil rights organization in the U.S. It's bound to lead to violence, and that's exactly what we've seen happen in Gaza. The gang's leader, Johnny Taz Mulford, is a former sergeant in the U.S. Army who was punished for conspiracy to commit bribery, theft, and making false statements to military authorities. He is now the country team leader running UG Solution contract in Gaza. Motherfucker got kicked out of the army for bribery and theft. Okay? Now is fucking... Okay. Okay. There he is. Look at that. Okay? And, you know, you're starting to see why the BBC picked it, huh? A lot of Trump stuff in this. But, granted, fuck that guy. You know? So, like, whatever. So, we emailed Infidels Motorcycle Club for comment. In response, Mr. Mulford instructed fellow leaders of the biker gang not to reply, but included the BBC when he clicked reply all, inadvertently disclosing email addresses and names of fellow Infidel Motorcycle Club members, some of whom were working in Gaza. By matching up names with public information about Infidels Motorcycle Club leadership and evidence from UG Solution insiders who worked with them, we have identified 10 members of Infidels Motorcycle Club who Mr. Mulford recruited to work with him in Gaza. In addition to Mr. Mulford, we have identified 3 leading members of the Infidels Motorcycle Club who also have senior roles at UGS's Gaza operation. Larry J. Rod Jarrett, who has been publicly named as the Infidels Motor Club vice president as in charge of logistics. The gang's national treasurer, Bill St. Sieba, who leads the security team for one of GHF's 4 safe distribution sites. One of the gang's founding members, Richard A. Tracker Lofton, a team leader at another distribution site. So here they are. Here's their profile pics. You know, these are hired for senior roles in Gaza. So isn't that nice? Yay. Confidential documents, open source information, and former UGS contractors have enabled us to confirm the identities of a further 6 infidel bikers hired to work in Gaza. 3 of them are deputy leaders of the firm's armed security teams. Mr. Jarrett, Mr. Sieb, and Mr. Lofton did not respond to requests for comments. UGS told the BBC it conducts comprehensive background checks and only deploys vetted individuals. However, news reports indicate Mr. Jarrett was arrested 2 years ago in the U.S. for drunk driving and has a previous charge of driving under the influence from about a decade earlier. It is not known whether either case resulted in a conviction. The founder and chief executive of UG Solutions, Jameson Gavani, was arrested earlier this year in North Carolina for his alleged involvement in a hit-and-run incident and for fleeing from police to evade arrest. According to court documents, Mr. Gavani, who is based in the U.S. and is not a member of Infidels MC, declined to comment. Until now, Mr. Mulford was the only UG Solutions contractor to have been identified as a member of the Infidels. The BBC's investigation reveals how widespread his hiring of members of the biker gang has been, notably to better paid jobs leading the UGS armed security teams. Social media posts show that in May, just 2 weeks before traveling to Gaza, Mr. Mulford sought to recruit U.S. military veterans who follow him on Facebook, inviting anyone who can still shoot, move, and communicate to apply. So, if you have combat arms MOS, can still shoot, move, and communicate, this will be tested, can leave within the next 12 hours, text me, and let's chat. So, yeah, in total, at least 40 of about 320 people hired to work for UG Solutions in Gaza were recruited from Infidels MC, according to an estimate by a former contractor. UG Solutions is paying each contractor $980 a day, including expenses, rising to about $1,500 per day for team leaders at GHF safe distribution zones, in quotations, documents seen by the BBC show. One leader of a team in Gaza to overseeing site security, Josh Miller, posted a photo of a group of contractors in Gaza with the banner reading, "Make Gaza Great Again." That banner right there at the FOB Mar-a-Lago. Yay. So, forward operating base, in case people were wondering, Lots of military jargon being thrown around. The banner advertises the logo of a company he owns, which sells t-shirts and other clothing, including one which has the slogan, "Embrace Violence," and another which says, "Surf all day, rockets all night, Gaza Summer 25." His company also posted a video online showing scenes of gun violence and advocating the shooting of criminals with the caption, "Remember, always shoot until they're no longer a threat." Mr. Miller has the word Crusader tattooed across his fingers and 1095 on his thumbs. This is the year with the leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Urban II, launched the first crusade, attacking Muslims as a, quote, "vile race." Mr. Miller did not respond to requests for comments. A post on the Infidels MC Facebook page selling 1095 hats says it signifies the start of the Crusades, a military campaign by Western European forces to recapture Jerusalem and the Holy Land from Muslim control. The Holy Land refers to the area mostly covered by modern-day Israel and the Palestinian territories. So here's this shirt they're selling. That right there is nuclear mushroom cloud. So, I mean, granted, that happens with plenty of explosives, but you know, this is how they see themselves. Isn't that nice? Johnny Mulford, who in addition to leading the gang, is listed as the registered agent of a Florida company called Infidels MC, has the date 1095 tattooed across his chest. He has a Crusader cross tattooed on his right forearm and another on the left upper arm, along with the word Infidels. When you see anti-Muslim bigots today celebrating 1095, celebrating the Crusades, they are celebrating the wholesale massacre of Muslims, the erasure of Muslims and Jews from the holy site of Jerusalem, said Mr. Mitchell from the U.S. Muslim Civil Rights Organization, CARE. He said the gang had the hallmarks of anti-Muslim hate groups, which for decades have used the name Infidels. So, anti-Islamic views expressed by the gang include a flyer for the pig roast during Ramadan, which the BBC found on an archived webpage. It says, in defiance of the Islamic holiday of Ramadan, we invite you to attend the Infidels MC Colorado Springs chapter open bike party and pig roast. So, yeah, pretty culturally sensitive guy, sounds like. Collin, you've watched some prison shows, right? If you saw this character in the prison shows, what affiliations do you think he would have? You know, just to take a guess.
Starts with
N,
ends in C.
Sure, the one of those too. A little Brotherhood.
Yeah.
What, either of those? You know,
Sure.
people have watched Oz before, right?
And for the record, I didn't really watch prison Oz sometimes, but I didn't really have HBO.
Yeah.
At certain points going on, I didn't watch, but I've seen some episodes of Oz. That's the extent of any prison show that I've watched in my life that I can think of right now.
These guys putting up their flyer to the fucking racist cookout, right? The flyer also shows a woman wearing a burqa that has been torn off from the neck down, exposing her chest. The Infidels MC Facebook page has hosted clearly Islamophobic discussions in 2020. The club shared a link to a false satirical article claiming 4 U.S. Democratic politicians, 2 of them Muslim, wanted the Bible to be deemed hate speech. I'm sure. Comments from members of the Facebook group included, "Filling my magazine to the max would not be the first time we were at odds with Muslims. Deport these pathetic skanks to a pathetic third world crap hole where they won't be offended by the Holy Bible." And a comment dismissing them and their Muhammad with an expletive. So, yeah, keep in mind, by the way, the Quran says you should respect Jesus, if I remember correctly, and
Right.
deems him a pretty cool dude. So this was news reports at the time. So this is their flyer in defiance of the Islamic holiday of Ramadan. Imagine, if you will, a war on Christmas, Collin, and how much these guys would fucking cry about it. Right? Oh no, a red Starbucks cup. God forbid. But fuck Starbucks anyway. They're Zionist pieces of shit. The Infidels MC website also used to show the skull logo of the Violent Marvel comic book character Punisher, a symbol appropriated by white supremacist groups and police officers, inscribed with kafir, an Arabic script which translates as unbeliever or infidel. Scenes of chaos and danger have been common at the aid distribution sites in Gaza since they opened at the end of May. Up to the 2nd of September, 1,135 children, women, and men were killed near GHF sites while seeking food. And if you think these guys didn't pull a couple of triggers themselves, I hate to tell you, they probably did. The UN has most of the killings appear to have been carried out by Israeli security forces. Incidents where civilians were harmed while seeking aid are under review by the competent authorities in the IDF, said the Israeli military. Yeah, quit asking them for statements, BBC. They're fucking lying. UGS has denied allegations that its security contractors also fired on civilians and that it put people seeking food in danger due to incompetent leadership. However, the company has admitted that warning shots have been used to disperse crowds. I think we know what probably happened there. In a statement, UG Solutions, based in North Carolina, said Johnny Mulford is a trusted and respected figure with more than 30 years' experience supporting the U.S. and its allies globally. We stand by his reputation, record, and his contributions to the success of complex missions. Yeah, okay. What do those successes look like again? And they do not screen for personal hobbies or affiliations. Yeah, okay. Only qualified, vetted individuals. Sure. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation said it relies on people from all backgrounds to provide aid in Gaza and to build trust with Gazans. The team providing aid at the foundation's site is diverse and it is successful for that region. What is this one of these DEI campaigns? Is that what we're doing? Sounds like we're forced diversity to me, trying to include some fucking biker gangs. But, you know, what do I know? But anyway, thoughts, Care Bear?
Well, this doesn't. You would think this would surprise me, but doesn't. Especially given the conversations I've had with. Now, granted, this is a biker gang, but just normal or seemingly normal ass Christians that I've had conversations with over the past week. One in particular that I used to go to church with basically showed his ass and basically revealed to me that he was a low-key Islamophobe. And I've said this, I said that to you off air last week. But like, you guys know this, my sister, my younger half sister is Muslim, black woman, and she's covered. So she became a Muslim in university in the same way that how many
got a free bean pie. Good choice.
Right. No. So, but
I will happily take the bean pies. Send me the bean pies. I will take them. Thank you very much.
Well,
Assalamu alaikum.
But I thought about this. Right. But I thought about this in terms of like Charlie Kirk, in the same way that a lot of college students might come to faith in college, because that might be the first, if not first, exposure that they might have to Christianity. It's the same way that, in my case of my sister, she came to the Islamic faith, you know, at her university. So that's probably why, not probably, I would say more likely, Charlie Kirk made his mission to, because everyone's saying like Turning Point was like a Christian organization. No, it wasn't. Like, yeah, it was a not-for-profit organization, but it wasn't necessarily affiliated with any Christian group, that, as far as I know. if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. It was basically a way to peddle college students into the Republican Party, using Christianity possibly as a way for impressionable college students to essentially become Republicans. So really, Charlie Kirk wasn't necessary. And everyone's like, "Oh, he was a Christian. He was trying to lead people to God." No, he wasn't. Look, he was trying to lead people to
No,
Republican.
he was trying to lead people to super white honky BG Jesus. That's what he was trying for.
Right.
But anyway,
my sister said to me, when I was in London visiting her a couple of weeks, months ago, was like, "I don't want to come to the US, like even to come visit me," because she was like, "I'm afraid of what could happen to me, being that I'm covered." And obviously, just the Islamophobia that has existed in history, but I think especially more so now, like how she would be treated. So basically, if she were to come over here, I'll have to be her bodyguard, which I'm willing to do anyway because I'm her big brother. But it's the idea of, like, again, cancel culture. Like, it's the idea of, oh, as long as it's against the opposite team, it's okay. But they have a fit if it happens to them. So it's just a lot of hypocrisy. But I think what is surprising, not surprising really, is that this sentiment, this Islamophobe sentiment, is not just limited to the extremists. It's your neighbors.
Well,
like
they've been propagandized
the
for
people
fucking
the people
a
who go to
decade
church.
now.
Right. And even for me, like I said, I traveled to the Middle East. I went to Morocco and I went to Jordan. Like, now it's been about 20 years. But I went on a mission trip with my church at the time. So the idea that I went over there to, not, I wouldn't say convert, but to talk to locals about Jesus and all that in the light of the Christian faith, like, it definitely puts that in a new light, especially given the sentiment that I'm seeing with some of the people now who within that church, having talked to them within the last week, that they're basically are low-key Islamophobic. And
which I'm just religiphobic. If we could just get rid of all of it, I'd be very happy.
Right.
But
which I totally understand from your point of view. But at the same time, I'm like, so my question is the idea of you trying to spread the gospel in the Middle East that genuine? Which, again, I don't know people's hearts. I don't know people's attitude. But, but it's the same church for me. If people in my church are thinking that way, and I won't say all of them are that way, but like, it's definitely kind of an interesting thought that how many more are thinking that. And of course, they may not go to this extreme, but you're still carrying those thoughts. And the idea that,
I think it was
your religion, and I even said it to this guy, is like, and I said this to you, like, and you're saying that Christianity is any better in terms of, especially given my, history, how my ancestors were enslaved in the name of faith. And he said, "Oh, well, we evolved. We're better than that now." And I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, you're not, because it still happens. Like,
right. You all are basically, right, not all, but many of you, right, basically deifying a political influencer over people within the last week who've gone shot by the same means that Kurt himself has said, "Oh, it's unfortunate that people have to die in order to ensure that the Second Amendment is in place." Christian man saying that in terms of children. So to me, it's like, and it's funny, even in mentioning this, it's like people are praising Charlie Kirk, but they can't say and kind of notice this online, especially like people are calling him out as a good guy, but they don't say what he did that was good. You might hear some thing, oh, he was Christian, no, but they never get into any specifics, right? They know, but because like he's a right winger, their team who happens to be a Christian, whatever, like they're falling in line. But conversely, we see this on the left as well. So, and so it's basically like you're playing for your team and you're chastising the other team when they fuck up. But meanwhile, the corporations, the people in government are laughing at you because you're so fully distracted that they're basically robbing you. Like, even with all, we're not talking about the fact that people are broke right now. We're not talking about how people are going to get hurt by the healthcare system right now. We're not going to be talking, maybe within the next couple of months when it's Christmas, that people might return to the economics of the country again. Who knows? But no one's talking about how tariffs are affecting your bank account right now. So we're so fully distracted by our teams that we are so divided that, and I've said this for the past few weeks, and I'll probably keep saying it again, to the end of time probably now, you guys need to prepare yourselves because they're looking to have a civil war on account of cultural differences versus the actual problem, which is the people above us are fucking you over, but no one's talking about that right now. So
well, and
this
even
is
with
just kind of like the perfect distraction
I don't buy the Civil War thing either, because there's been 1,000 of these fucking culture war instances where they claim that's gonna fucking happen, and the American populace is so fucking pacified that none of that shit's fucking happening, even when it should. Like, and if it does, it'll be because some fucking rich motherfucker wanted it to happen anyway. So,
right.
Like they got their own fucking.
Which again they do. So it's just another way to kind of
Do they?
solidify the
I don't think they do.
State.
I think that hurts their fucking pocketbook if that happens. Like the surveillance state's already happening. Yes, right. about their money. Yeah, people can't buy goods if it's a fucking like if it's fallout in the streets. Like, you need people able to go fucking buy Kleenexes. Like the surveillance state's already happening. Regardless, they've been working on that forever. Digital surveillance already been happening. They've been working on that forever. Like, they don't need any of these. These are just excuses, maybe, to push that forward. But, like, they don't need much of one. They'll do it without that shit. So, but, yeah, I did find this story interesting. I didn't see a lot of people talk about it at all. So, this is the kind of people that are going over there and being Blackwater mercenaries with, all sorts of Islamophobic hate already in their hearts for a multitude of reasons. So, lots of propaganda been happening on that for decades now. So, but, I hope they see the error of their ways. And,
right.
If there is a God, may he deal with them appropriately, Which, the way things are going now, don't look like it to me, but what do I know? Anyway, talking about these things is why we're demonetized, so you can scan that QR code on your screen, go to ko-fi.com/indie news network, you would like to leave us a few dollary dues, we appreciate it. But otherwise, like and subscribe, share the video, send this to your like-minded friends. Otherwise, leave a comment, let us know what you're thinking. But, as always, thanks for watching.